Welcome to Homeschool House Calls. I'm Devin, and we are with Lynn today, and we're going to go over some stuff. I'm kind of flying blind today, Lynn, because I didn't really look over anything you said you needed.
Well, I've made a little list just in case.
Good. We like lists, especially. I had one mama make bullet points with Trello and send me a screenshot, and that was awesome. I'm like, oh, now I know exactly what you need. Yay! So, how can I help?
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm going to be homeschooling my grandson that's 16. And he homeschooled last year. He transitioned from public school and he did an online homeschool. And that went okay, but he needs more than that. He needs a lot of, he likes more hands-on and reading, not just from off the computer, but he wants the books. He wants to put it in his hands. And
my girls are like that too. They prefer having something in their hands.
Yes. And then we will be adding his sister, who is 12, into the mix this year. So
what did you use for your grandson last year?
We did Easy Peasy.
Easy Peasy. Did it work well compared to, was it good and you want to just add more meat to it, or did you or do you want to just try something completely different?
We want to try something completely different. It went good. His personality is, he has to take things in, just kind of absorb them, think about them, no pressure, so it worked okay. It was a lot of reading towards the end. And I think he just kind of got burnt out towards the end.
Yeah.
And he struggled towards the end. He did really well, but he just struggled to get it done.
Yeah, it was a lot, especially for the high school. I think they have really challenging program. A lot of people will take the name and think easy peasy. It's pretty challenging. They took most of their stuff from Georgia Virtual Academy through Georgia's system. They used to be, their homeschool stuff used to be completely free. And then when they switched it to where you had to be public school, at least that's the story I was told. The person who did Easy Peasy took a lot of the information and the sites where they went from and organized it on a website so it would stay free. So yeah, they can be pretty challenging. They'll use stuff like MIT, their math courses and stuff like that. Since we're talking curriculum, okay, now are you going to want faith-based or secular? Which one do y'all prefer? Or do you not have a preference?
I don't really have I would like faith-based, but I think for them right now, more secular or a mix.
Or a mix.
A mix. And I've done a lot of I've done some research. I've already purchased some things, especially for Sammy, who's 12, because we've been talking about homeschooling for her for several months now. And so I've already purchased some things. Michael was kind of on the fence whether he wanted to continue homeschooling or go back to public school. And so it was just in the last couple of weeks this last week that he said, yes, definitely, I want to homeschool.
So let's start with math. Okay. Have you picked anything out for math?
I have not picked out anything for math. I do have several things I've just picked up at either Goodwill or a library sale for Algebra 1. But as far as just purchasing a curriculum, I have not done that.
Now, I'll show you what I use with mine, and it may not, this is online, but my kids have loved it. And it's an option. I always point to, let's see, where's my screen share? I'll show you. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go over here. Teaching textbooks.
Okay.
This is about the only thing online that my girls actually use. I don't know that you would call it secular or faith-based. I don't know what they are. I've never even looked that deep into there. But what I love is it's an app on the phone. My
Okay.
girls can never hide from algebra or any level again if we go out of the house, because it's like, from what I have not done this yet, but what I understand is you can download 5 lessons at a time and not use your data. So it's like
Okay.
we're going somewhere, we're going on a field trip, and they still can do their math. So it's not overly expensive. You can actually do a free trial for like 15 lessons and try it
Okay.
out. And then at that point, if you want it, then you can buy it. But let's see it for 12 months, it's $67. That's not
Okay.
an unreasonable price for math. I know
And
for
that's
me,
actually one of the ones I looked at.
yeah, I have been
That
very
was
pleased.
considering. Okay, good.
We used Matthew C for years. And when I had my kindergartner, she's a kindergarten now. She wasn't kindergarten when I had her. I switched them to Saxon, and I found an online class that somebody was teaching. But then when Juliana got into pre-cal and there was no one to explain it to her, she tried this out and she loved it so much I switched the other girls. So we have
Okay.
been
Okay,
pleased.
good.
So I'm a new to them. I like the fact that you can do 15 lessons. And if it's not working, then you switch. So
Right.
that's what I use. There's others out there, but I think it's just very accessible and user friendly for us, especially when you have multiple kids. So that's
Okay.
try. There are other ones that are popular that are like live teachers. There's always those you can look at. I think what's he called? Mr. D, I think is one. Let me look at
Okay.
it. That's like online, and even Matthew C has online classes. It's more pricier, but teaching textbooks, I would try that one first because my girls like the setup, and it's been a
All
good.
right. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that a little bit more.
So what else? What else are y'all looking at?
Let's see. For history, we're looking at world history. And I'd like for both Michael and Sammy to do that.
Okay.
And I've bought a book by, is it The Learning Tree? It's Fun Schooling.
Fun Schooling. Let's look at that
Okay.
one. I'll pull that up.
Okay. And it's the 7 Amazing Continents. It's a geography book.
Let's see. I don't need that one. Okay. Let's see. Fun Schooling. Is it 7 Amazing
Continents.
Continents. This is not my day. I just saw
I have
it
my
there.
glasses off, so I can't even read
This is
what you're
not my
typing.
day. Let's see.
That's it.
Yeah. So what grade level do they call it?
Not sure if they call it more middle school or both
Probably.
middle and upper.
So is Michael doing middle school work, or you wanting high school?
High school.
High school. That's what I thought.
And
I don't want to do a video.
yeah.
So it's world geography and social studies, and you just needed like maybe a world history to go along with it.
Right.
I'll show you. I'll show you what I'm going to get up and pull something off the floor, people.
Okay.
Actually, I don't have the world history. Last year, Olivia's doing world history right now, and this is the book that we use. There will be people that will tell you it's not curriculum, but it is very thorough. And at the end of each chapter is almost like it says, check your knowledge. There.
I bought that.
See, this is the American. Olivia has the world. I use this. And if she really, really likes some part, we dig a little deeper.
Okay.
And well, we'll do American history next, but we're finishing up world history. But I think it's it's more than some of that stuff was stuff I learned in college. So I think it's very thorough. So don't listen to anybody if they say it's not. You can turn anything you want into curriculum. But I'm
Good.
like, it makes a nice spine. And you can, if you dive in deeper, I'm like, I mean, if I wanted to, I could ask her to make write an essay or write a research paper. I'm like, she could do, sometimes I'll say, hey, why don't you make a YouTube video? She don't do that for me much. She used to when she was little. She don't do them too much now. But I'm like, anyway, where you see that they're keeping the knowledge. That's what I would do. But
Okay,
I
yeah,
like this. I may have to put this one on my list for her.
yes, I've actually bought a couple of those different ones. I'd have to go look and see which ones I have, but I have the world history one. And so I'd like to combine the continents, the geography with the world history. And what I liked about this 7 Amazing Continents, it also had like what's the social studies, the cultural
I like that
thing. So including like authors from that particular area or artists,
I like that too. That's a nice element to it. I think they would work good together and not be overwhelming.
Yes, so that's kind of what we're going to do, I think, and I'm going to do both of them, but of course Michael, I will require more of him.
I mean, you could require an essay or some kind of project. It could be, I mean, the history that I used for Cole, they would have projects, anything from a storyboard where they would take like what are they called? The trifold boards, almost like a history fair type thing.
Right.
And
okay.
Sometimes they would do that. Sometimes they were writing essays on that area or some questions. So, I mean, you could pull, I'm like, with these, they have all these questions. You could pull one of those questions and say, hey, why don't you pick one of these and write me an essay? And then he has some practice. I mean, that works. Now, when I grade mine, if it's for the essays for history, I don't grade their grammar. I'm the nice teacher.
Okay.
I don't grade their grammar. And when they write essays for English, then I grade their grammar. I probably should do both, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm the nice teacher. Sometimes I'm the mean. They may tell you differently, but yeah, I would think that would work really well. I think that would work well. I think they wouldn't be overwhelming. I wish they gave they kind of showed what the subjects were, but they have research pages there. Yeah, look, that's nice. Yeah, so you don't have to make anything up. You can just, maybe require a little bit more from him than for her. And you could, I mean, and it could be for a high school credit, you want at least like 140 to 180 hours of work.
Okay.
And it could be anything from just requiring him to research deeper. Like, hey, and he doesn't even have to write it. He could just, you could. One thing I do with Olivia is we have coffee on the porch or tea on the porch, and we'll discuss her history. So it could be anything like that where you have some one-on-one time and you're discussing that subject. So there's all sorts of ways you can grade.
Okay. And that's perfect for him because he loves to just research things, whatever he's interested or whatever he thinks of, and then he comes and talks to me.
That's fun. See, you're already doing that. So what else? What about English? What do you got for English?
Let's see. I want to do like just review grammar like the first month or so, and kind of continue to do some grammar throughout, but not spend a lot of time on it. And then work. I did buy a couple of books. One was how to write a paragraph, and then how to write a 5-paragraph essay, and then how to edit an essay. So I kind of wanted to do some of that, especially with Sammy.
Yeah.
With writing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, those sound good. I'll show you something we use.
Okay.
Well, this set they have English. We have that on the shelf for them to grab if they want to see why something is the way it is. But let's see. I can pull this up. Okay, come on, Google. Don't you know what I'm thinking? Okay, ultimate. I always get this wrong. I'm on easy grammar. I know I didn't spell it right, but it'll pick it up. There it is. See, here's something. This is what I use with my girls, and it's just one page a day, and it goes through all. I'm like, it'll go through nouns. It goes through. There's just a little bit, one page for the day, and it goes over all sorts of different things every day. And so they go through one page every day for 180 days. So then it helps me catch if there's something they don't know, because I'll go back and grade it. And if I find something they don't know or they don't remember, then we're able to pull something off the shelf and look at it. So this is what I use instead of, I don't really use a set grammar curriculum. I just, by this grade, it's just, it helps me catch if there's something they don't remember. So.
Yeah, I bought a book called Dragon Grammar.
Uh-huh.
And then another one that's like 30 grammar mistakes.
Oh, nice.
And so I thought, as we're doing it, they could work through the Dragon Grammar, and it's got a couple of like tests at the end just to assess how they're doing. And then the 30 grammar mistakes, they could do like maybe one a week just to kind of keep up as a review.
I think I've seen this one. That looks fun. Is this it?
Well, I have that one with the shoes. Is that a sentence a day? Yeah, that's it. That's the Dragon one.
Yeah. And this is called a sentence a day.
Yes.
Fun.
And they give a sentence, and then they correct the sentence. So they're copying the sentence down, and neither one of them know really how to write in cursive very well. So I thought that would be good practice.
A good practice. Yeah.
For cursive writing. And then they correct, the sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll show you. I had this on the shelf for Cole. Let's see. Okay, people, you're going to find out really fast that spelling is not my strong suit. I do. I know I have dyscalculia. I probably have. Well, dyslexia and dyscalculia can be in. Which one involves spelling? I'm sure that's included. Handwriting without tears. That is what I'm trying to get.
Okay.
There's one that they have, handwriting for tears, and it works. They have like for teens. So that's not the one I'm looking for, but it may be the right one. There's several, but there's lots that you can do handwriting practice.
Right.
For teens, so it's not so babyish. But the one I used for Cole was put out by Handwriting Without Tears, and it's just made for older kids. And it had some cartoons in there, but it wasn't babyish, and that was something I was looking for him, because he had great printing, but not good cursive, and he's still not good at cursive. So sometimes it just happens. But eventually he did get better. I thought for a while he wasn't, but he got better. But
so there is hope.
There is hope. That's what I mean. There's hope. Yeah, he was poor kid. His mama had a baby the year he started high school. Okay, what else? I have this pulled up because I know I'm coming back to it. So
okay. Science, I bought Focus on Biology from Sammy, since it's a middle school curriculum. So I've already bought that. And for Michael, he's kind of all over the place. He is interested in several different things, and he keeps mentioning them. Forensics, psychology, astronomy, and ecosystems.
Neat.
So I'm trying to figure out how.
Now in Alabama,
Okay.
just for those of y'all who don't know, other states, when it comes to high school, you need to look at your state laws. Some states are very lenient with homeschool. Some are very structured. In Alabama, we do not have any graduation requirements. The mother, the teacher, sets what they require for high school. So it is perfectly okay. And at one time I would have stressed out over and said, oh, it's got to be this way. But after I had to go through the ACT, I no longer feel that way. I'm like, enjoy science and add in an SAT science question of the day, so that at least it's not unfamiliar the way they frame their questions. So that's one thing I would say. Look at, ACT science question of the day, just so that in case he goes to, college. What I learned when we did the ACT, I was very regimented. My kids had physical science, biology, advanced biology, chemistry. They had, what you would expect in high school. And those do need to come in a certain order, but I no longer feel like those have to be the only sciences, because they did not test them on what they had studied for the science. All they were testing is, can they read the information, read the graphs, and then answer the questions. So I now think very differently about science. So that's me. I'm like, I used to be very, we used Apologia all the way through. And I'm like, my daughter hated it. I wish I had done different. Cole loved it. It was his style. She loved biology and hated everything else. So I wish I had done more of what she was interested in. I'm trying to think what's out there. There is, supercharged science is very popular. It's a bit pricey, but it comes on a disc. She teaches on a CD, and they have, I think she has interesting. So that's one that he might like.
Okay.
Let's see. What do they have? I'm gonna see if we can pull up that list. She has a lot free too, so you could try out some of the free and see if they like them this summer. I mean, that's always an option. Let's see if they've got a list somewhere. Where is the list? There used to be a list. Sometimes they make you want to sign up for stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to sign up. I need a list. Okay, let's see. We can find. Maybe here would be better. Let's see. So they have online, they have science. This is what I've used, the science lessons on the DVD.
Okay.
That's what I've used. But now she has online too. So that's always an option. I don't know how he'd feel this. They have, they have all the parts for the stuff. So that's nice. Let's see. It's not always the easiest for me to see when I'm. Let's see if they have anything on here for what kind. My girl would like this. Let's see. They don't have the names of what they got. Very easy. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. If
it is an option.
Okay. So what I was thinking is doing, choosing one and doing it for 5 or 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to dig deeper, certainly we would go deeper with that. And at least get those 4 in.
Yeah.
And then maybe the last third of school or half or whatever is have him really choose one and really delve a lot deeper into it.
Yeah. And, you could probably, you could even do history for half the year and do science for half the year and just almost be like intensive.
Okay.
That's always a choice. I mean, that may be a choice too, but I mean, I don't see why not. Trying to think what I've seen. You may want something like a general science. I don't know what company I'll have. I'm gonna have to write that down and remember that, and let me do some research, because general science kind of goes over a lot of different kinds
Okay.
and would give him a little bit of taste of each one. I just need to look and see what I can find that's maybe a little bit more middle road, or because Apologia has it, but they are faith-based. I'll just have to look and see what I can find that might not be faith-based. So, but there should be some type of general science where he can get a little taste of everything, and then you can say, okay, what do you want to do next year?
Okay. Because he did biology this past year.
He did biology and liked it.
Yes, he did like it. He just wants something, different. He
wants something different. Yeah.
Like I said, he's kind of like, for a while he'll talk about forensics, and then later on he'll talk about something else, and then he's talked about psychology a lot. So that's why
psychology is not usually considered exactly a science,
right?
But I see why you couldn't do it. Sorry, but yeah, I'm gonna do some research on that.
Okay, that'd be
see
great.
What I can find, because having it where, I mean, you can buy a whole curriculum, I know, but then that's going to start running into money.
Right.
That may not be something you want. Or you could look at Guest Hollow. I'm going to write that down. I'll remember to send you that link. Guest Hollow, they may have something, and that may not be quite so expensive. So I'm going to look and see what I can find. I think we glitched a little bit. Anyway, so I think we're glitching a little bit. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to pause the recording and then we'll come back in just a minute. Let's see. Okay, we're back. Sometimes, internet glitches, and that's okay. That's a normal part of life. So we've talked about math and language arts, and we've talked about history and science. And what else do we have? What can I help with?
Well, first, for a foreign language, we want to do sign language, American Sign Language. They both did Spanish this past year.
Mm-hmm.
Michael was definitely not a fan of Spanish. And I think he would probably not be a fan of French or, another language. So I think American Sign Language.
And that's a fun one. Our local, AIDB, that local center, they have services for the deaf and the blind. They have classes, and they're about $50 for 8 weeks. And my girls loved them. I know last year they did them online, but the year before they were in person. So that's always that's always an option. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of free ones too.
Okay.
So I'm going to look that up so we can there. But I loved the doing it through the local center. Another thing, in case anybody ever hears this and watches this video, if you become an interpreter and you go to college to become an interpreter in Alabama, the school is in Troy, the Alabama Institute of the Deaf and Blind will pay your school. They pay your bill off if you work for 3 years, which I think is fabulous, because if you're interested in that, you can be debt free and you're getting a salary. So yeah, just for working for 3 years, I even told my husband, I said, well, maybe I need to go back to school and do this, because I'm like, it's awesome. I've met several interpreters, the ones locally. There are some wonderful mamas. Our teacher from the local center, her English is her second language because she grew up in a home where her parents were deaf. So it was very, very cool. So I have some people I can connect you with, but I'll look and see what I can find low cost too. But
I found online, and I can't remember that. I have it written down somewhere. I think it's in my phone actually, for class.
Mm-hmm.
So, and don't make me go look for it, because if I do, I'll lose you and then I'll never get back to you.
No, that's okay. We can PM. It's fine.
Okay.
You can show me. So what other electives? I know you need 2 or 3. You need 2 or 3. Well, I usually do the 4 core and then 2 electives is what I do. You know, I have Gabriella. Gabriella's 10th grade this year. And I usually we do piano. That's one of ours. They do piano.
Okay.
They do foreign language. And that's about all she'll have. She may pick up some homeschoolers. They get overzealous. Sometimes they'll pick 2 or 3 other ones up, but I only ask for 2.
Okay. Yeah. One of my questions was about like extracurricular activities and just being, like, am I expecting too much of them, or not enough? Is it challenging enough? I don't want any of us, me included, to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Do we slowly introduce new things like extracurricular activities or things like that? I'm really interested in the kids doing some volunteer work. They already do that or have done some during this past year, but we'd like to continue with that. And so
this is what I do with my girls. When we start the new school year, I'll start 1 subject or maybe 2 subjects at a time and work out the bugs that week. And sometimes if it was a very challenging thing, I might do it 2 weeks. But I'll start math, work out all the bugs and any kind of glitches. Then the next week I'll add language arts and work out any glitches. Then the next week I'll add history and work out the glitches. It was just a much more gentle start for me. They might have I just learned that from when they were really little. It was hard to start everything at one time. Now that does mean that in the spring they're going to end 1 subject at a time over a month, and that's usually what happens. Is they're ending 1 thing at a time. So May is usually it's like easing into summer type thing.
Okay.
But that's what we do. With extracurriculars, I would kind of just go off them. There are some volunteer things that are available. There's some groups that do things that are available in Mobile, which is where we live. There's lots of volunteer activities. It could be just as simple as saying, hey, let's go pick up trash on the side at our favorite park. I'm like, if you can't find anything they're interested in, there's that. And although you're not connected to an organization, it's kind of easier to work that in sometimes when you have lots of, because I've had lots of multiples. I know how it can be stressful to try to work anything extra in. Cole and I did some volunteer work at Family Promise. It's one of the local homeless shelters. And what's neat about it is it's the only one that was open to the whole family. They worked on keeping the family together and not separating them out, where like dad's going to one, mom and the kids is at another one.
Right.
We would go in not really even once a month. It was almost like every 2 or 3 months. There was a local church the way they do it is they host at different churches, and the churches will have an area that they set up as rooms, like it could be classrooms or whatever. So we would go in and set up beds and make beds and get it ready for the people to come. And then we would come sometime on the day that they broke everything down and cleaned up, where it was going to the next church. And then usually during the week when they were there, we would serve a meal. We would go and serve a meal. So that's an option. You can always, that they're local. The library, I know they sometimes do volunteer stuff. It's just kind of whatever they're interested in. I would pick one and maybe do something that they are following that volunteer. Because when you're looking at college, they're looking to see that that's something they're passionate about. It could be finding somewhere like, volunteering for Makerspace or the hospital. Family Promise was something I was into. We did refugees for a while and worked with one of there's a refugee group that helps them acclimate to their new area. So I mean, just whatever they're passionate about, I would look for that. Don't volunteer for just the sake of volunteering. Find something they're passionate in, and then think of it long term. One of our graduates was really into horses, and she volunteered for the police academy's horse area, and she had like thousands of volunteer hours when she graduated because all she did was go take care of the horses. So I mean, it's just finding their passion.
Okay.
So
yeah, one of the things we've done is work with feeding the Gulf Coast, the food bank.
That is an awesome one.
And packing. I think it's called their backpack.
Their
program.
Backpacks, yeah.
We've been doing that. Of course, they are not doing it for the summer, but we'll start back in August. So the kids really like that. And
that's something that's great. We did that at our church for a while, where we would take certain items of food every week to help supply, for that. Another thing we do is there's a Center for Foster Care, and they are now collecting pajamas for the summer. And so there's lots of it. Just as a matter of finding something they're passionate about and just following that passion and enjoying it. That's what I think that's even better than, when they're young, you might want to expose them to a lot of different stuff. But as they get toward those teen years, I believe, because I know them, I know that they feel passion for something. And I would follow it.
Okay.
They're great kids. They always have been.
Yeah. Let's see. Back to electives. What was our other elective? Definitely life skills. I don't know. Can you make that an elective?
Like yes, totally. I think it's a totally awesome thing. What kind of life skills? Which ones?
Definitely cooking and baking. Just learning like a budget and finances. What else? Well, driver's ed for Michael. He definitely needs that.
And did you see that you can do the driver's ed program at the local high school? Did you see that?
I did see that, and I caught part of it and didn't get all of it, so I need to go back and.
Yeah, I'll try to tag you in that, because someone else is teaching your child to drive. Okay, people, I have 5 kids. I've taught 2. I am the calm teacher. I am the preferred teacher. But when I found out that I could go and pay money at the school, someone else would teach them, and then they get the little golden ticket so they don't have to go to the DMV and take the test, I'm like all for it. I'm like, please don't make me teach anybody else to drive. Don't tell my kids that. Don't tell my kids that, because I'm like, they think they all believe that they are my favorite. That is my goal in life, is for them to think but I'm like, please don't make
You're the favorite.
I'm like, they think I'm all calm and my hands like this on the door handle, squeezing the door handle. Yeah.
Well, we've been practice driving. He doesn't have a permit, so we're not on the streets, but we go up to either the middle school that's close by or a huge vacant area, and we drive the parking lot. And he's really good. He's very cautious, but he drives so slow, it drives me crazy.
That's how my Juliana was. She was so slow. I was like, oh my gosh. And then Cole was the exact opposite. He was going really fast. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you don't want them really fast, but you want them to at least pick up a little bit. And I'll say, let's park here. And he's like, where? Because the lines are faint. It's vacant,
Yeah.
And you're just pick a spot. I don't care. Just park somewhere.
Juliana has never been able to park well in a parking lot. Lines or no lines. Gabriella, she's just started learning how to drive, and she takes those turns so wild, it scares me. she's great every other thing. And she's just this last week, she goes, watch, I've really been practicing and trying to control my foot. And it was almost the perfect turn, but it took several weeks. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. They're so much fun. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to wrap this one up, and we may have to reschedule, and we can we can
Okay.
schedule more all the time. But we're going, because it's a recording, we're gonna wrap this one up. But anyway, mamas, take time to like, subscribe, comment on in the comments. It actually changes YouTube's algorithms. I don't know how. I don't understand it. I'm not a computer nerd. But you can have your own homeschool house call too. And Lynn can come back anytime she wants to.
Thanks, Devin.
Y'all, see y'all next time.
Thanks.